now listening to the Zay Moore podcast.
I want to know what Zay thinks
There's
about
a few
that.
things that we gotta address.
Black people got the swag. Black people set the trends. We are the culture. We got a reality star for our president. It's insane. Even if they try to erase black history out of schools, it's not going to erase black history. Because we've been here. Kendrick Lamar definitely beat Drake in that battle. Hands down. At the end of the day, I'm going to keep it real with my people. Because if we don't keep it real with each other, who will?
What's going on, beautiful people? You already know who it is. I shouldn't have to introduce myself by now, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's your boy Zay Moore, and I want to welcome you back to a brand new episode of the Zay Moore podcast. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today is August 17th, and we got some things to unpack. A lot has been going on since the last time we spoke, so let's get into it. First things first, we're going to talk about Cardi B's new single, Imaginary Players. The New York essence, the Jay-Z essence of it all was just fire. Cardi B slayed that record. We're going to unpack it. We have also been following Trump's crackdown on homelessness in D.C. So I have some updates on that story as well. And we're going to go over the McNeil traffic stop case and some updates there. The cop that kind of was the aggressor, the main aggressor, no charges, y'all. Yep. Are we surprised? No, but definitely deserves a conversation, because if we don't talk about it, things like this will continue to happen. So we're going to shed some light on the bullshit of it all. And we got a few other things to talk about, some laughs to get out today. Y'all ready to start today's show? All right. So let's kick it off with Cardi B's new single, Imaginary Players, y'all. Cardi B dropped her new single, Imaginary Players, on August 15th, 2025. It samples Jay-Z's 1997 classic Imaginary Players and will appear on her upcoming album, Am I the Drama, released on September 19, 2025. The music video premiered the same day, featuring luxury visuals. So, congrats to Cardi. Let's just start there, because it's been a while, since Cardi has been able to officially, announce the release of her next album. As you guys know, it has been about 7 years since we've gotten a new album from Cardi B. About 7 years and 4 months. And in the industry, there's a lot of things that can stall this, if you know anything about the music industry. I mean, we got collaborators, we got approvals, personal life, and in Cardi's case, she had first teased her album back in 2021, but of course, that was when the pandemic was going on. She was able to release some singles like WAP with Megan, that's my shit right there, and Up, but nothing actually came into fruition when it comes to the album. So 7 years later, you feel me? Better late than never. I'm so happy that we're finally gearing up to hear another piece of work from the Bronx queen herself, Cardi B. Yes. I think this is a big deal for her. You know, Jay-Z, to me, is top tier when it comes to lyricism and rap. Him and a few other people, Biggie, Nas, Pusha, Tyler. Like there's a few people that I really hold up there when it comes to hip hop, and Jay-Z's at the top of the list, of course. And I'm glad that he gave this record the thumbs up, because a lot of people tried to shit on Cardi, for the whole writing thing. And let's call a spade a spade. There's a lot of people out here, men included, who are not writing their own shit. A lot of y'all faves got ghostwriters. I ain't gonna call no names, Drake, but a lot of y'all faves got ghostwriters, you feel me? So I'm not really worried about that, you feel me? As an artist, as a performer, what I'm looking for you to do is to deliver. And Cardi delivered the fuck out of that record. This is New York from head to toe. It's hip hop from head to toe. And I think it's a great segue into this new album. I really do. So I just want to, again, congratulate my Bronx sis, my hybrid sis, on the release of her new single, Imaginary Players. And let's run it up, y'all. Let's run that up. Next up, y'all, we're going to discuss BET canceling the Soul Train Music Awards and the BET Hip Hop Awards. BET CEO Scott Mills confirmed that both the Soul Train Music Awards and the BET Hip Hop Awards have been indefinitely suspended on cable television. However, he emphasized that these shows are not being eliminated entirely. They are being reimagined for today's shifting media landscape. The industry acknowledges that with declining traditional TV viewership, award shows are struggling to maintain relevance with audiences. The network is now exploring where these cultural staples might best thrive moving forward. And I'm assuming that's going to be things like streaming and, other modern platforms. So in case you were wondering, because yes, CBS Paramount, they are the parent company of BET. And of course, we know Paramount Global officially merged with Skydance Media this year. So during this transition, Scott Mills, the BET CEO, acknowledged that the company was reassessing resources and programming, and that the merger was part of the broader reason certain shows were being suspended and reimagined. Essentially, the new leadership is streaming what properties remain on traditional television and which ones should pivot to digital streaming platforms instead. So to sum it all up, y'all know that Paramount and CBS needed those approvals. You know that those approvals come from no one else but Trump himself, right? And we see what happened to Stephen Colbert. And you can't help but wonder, okay, well, does this have anything to do with, or is it just, right, the fact that the viewership is low? Because I do know some of these award shows be struggling. Like, I don't even be knowing sometimes when these award shows are out. I'd be like, oh shit, the AMAs is on. Oh shit, this is on. I don't be knowing. So can viewership be declining? Yes, but two things can be true at the same time, right? So I personally feel like those two shows were not, maybe they weren't profitable, but I just don't think that the people involved with the merger wanted to produce them anymore. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but to remove two shows that have been around for years, and again, especially the Soul Train Awards, right? That's been around since 1987. So that is a black staple when it comes to celebrating our artists. And we already have enough struggle as it is getting the industry to celebrate our black artists the way they do other races, right? So to remove that platform that is for us, I think is a little detrimental. I don't like it. Now, did I watch the BET Hip Hop Awards? No, because the last few award shows I saw were whack. I will say that. However, that doesn't mean that you just take them away entirely. You rework it. You sit down with the showrunner. You figure out how to make the show better. Because again, I think celebrating our artists is just as important as celebrating the artists we see at the Grammys and all of these other award shows. So when you start taking those platforms away that are for us, then that limits the amount of visibility, that limits the amount of celebration that can happen, right? Because again, we already know the politics and all the bullshit that goes into the music industry and these award shows and payola and favoritism. And, it's just a bunch of bullshit. So I'm kind of sad to see these two shows go. But again, right, they're saying that they are reworking it. They're reimagining how they can get these shows out there. But on the flip side, people are saying, no, it's just canceled. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I just thought that was something to go over, especially given the fact that it is all tied into the Skydance merger and all of that good stuff. But we won't spend too much more time on that. I just wanted to run through that quickly. So moving on to the next story, y'all. I hate to jump into politics, but we got to do it. I got to keep y'all up to date. So we've been talking a lot about Trump's federal crackdown on the homelessness in D.C. So I just have a few updates that I want to give you guys on that. So here we go. On August 11th, Trump invoked Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act, assuming temporary control over MPD and deploying 800 National Guard troops. Executive order making D.C. safe and beautiful targeted crime and homelessness. 70 to 75 homelessness encampments cleared, 240 plus arrests, 38 guns confiscated. The judge later forced restoration of local oversight after legal challenges. Critics point out violent crime is at a 30-year low, and we've discussed this not once but twice. It's at a 30-year low, 26% down from last year, arguing it's more symbolic than practical. So this basically they're saying that this whole crackdown is not going off of numbers. It's not going off of humanitarianism. It's just symbolic. It's just the Trump administration trying to send a message, as usual, that they are in control. Definitely a power grab, if you ask me. Contrasting narratives, the human impact of it all. It's just a mess. It really is a mess. I want you guys to listen to Dr. Rashad Ritchie. He has a show called Undisputed. I watch it all the time. He breaks things down with facts. His journalism is great. I want you guys to listen to him reporting on this and just talking about the dangers of rolling back all of these precedences and how it can affect these people. More so, I want you guys to listen to what he feels about just throwing people in jail, right? Like that is a accurate solution for people who are already dealing with not having a place to stay, not, being able to get the resources that they need, being mentally ill. It's man, it's just sickening. But I want you guys, to listen to Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Again, this is from his show Undisputed, and then I'll be right back with y'all to break it down.
The unsheltered who refuse to cooperate with Trump's crackdown, well, guess what? They're going to jail because that's the solution of individuals who are high thinkers. Here it is.
The Metropolitan Police Department, with the support of the new federal agencies who have been surging on the streets of the District of Columbia, are going to enforce the laws that are already on the books here in Washington, D.C. For far too long, these laws have been completely ignored, and the homelessness problem has ravaged the city. So D.C. Code 22-1307 and D.C. Municipal Regulation 24-100 give the Metropolitan Police Department the authority to take action when it comes to homeless encampments. So homeless individuals will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, to be offered addiction or mental health services, and if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time.
This is what happens when you're proud to proclaim you are a nation of laws. Because if you are a nation of laws, you cannot be a nation of values. Now, when this was first reported, the narrative was, we will make sure they have somewhere to stay. And I told you then, that was BS. Now they're saying, well, we're going to put them in jail, but only after they refuse these available services. That's BS too. Watch how many individuals go straight from arrest to incarceration. Do you really believe these individuals, under the auspices of Trump, are interested in humanitarianism toward those who are unsheltered?
Again, that was Dr. Rashad Ritchie for Undisputed. Very, very valid question, right? Do you think that these people are really interested in the well-being of these people? And let's talk about it, right? Because if they really were concerned about these people, then they would be doing things like expanding housing first programs, right? All of the things that Trump is rolling back funds for. Let's dive into what could actually be done. Expanding housing first programs, right? Providing permanent supportive housing with wraparound services, mental health care, addiction treatment, case management, one-stop shop. What about increasing affordable housing stock? Invest in building and preserving low-income housing in D.C., where rent prices are among the highest in the country right now. Got to point that out, too. Offer tax credits or incentives to developers to create more affordable units. How about that? What about strengthening rental assistance and eviction prevention? Expand Section 8 vouchers and repaid rehousing programs. Provide emergency rental assistance and legal aid for tenants facing eviction. And last but not least, invest in mental health and substance use treatment. What about those as an option? But you can't do it if you're rolling back the fund and if you don't have the money to put into these programs. If the money that you were putting into these programs, you're now putting into things like weapons and a whole bunch of other bullshit that isn't really aiding any of the American people. You feel me? It's just sickening, for real. I want y'all to listen to this homeless lady and what she had to say about Trump and the handling of the homelessness in D.C. right now. Take a listen to this.
Give us a home. How about that? How about just giving people that need a home inside? Then we'd be inside. You just want to just throw us to the rats. I don't know this man. Don't want to know him. All I know is he's a rich man pushing people with no money around. I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to crowd anyone. I don't want to use anyone. I just want to be in a place to live.
I just want to be in a place to live. And she said, I don't know this man. I don't want to know this man. All I know is that he's a rich man pushing people with no money around. You feel the impact of that statement? And this is our president, y'all, that this lady is talking about. This is the president, the one who's supposed to promote hope and the great American way. And this is the best place in the world anyone can make. This is the president that we are hearing conversations or comments like this about. You feel me? He's a rich man pushing people with no money around. Somebody with that type of description should not be in the White House. I could be, just talking out of my ass, but I don't think someone who is described that way should be in the White House at all. And it sucks because, again, I really don't think that people who are homeless choose to be homeless. You have to take into consideration all the things that can aid to one being homeless. The number one thing on the list is lack of affordable housing, as we all know, especially in places like D.C., New York, and San Francisco. Even full-time workers, a lot of time, can't really afford the market out there when it comes to rent. And when you have housing costs raising faster than wages, you will get things like this. Moving on, poverty and low wages, unemployment or underemployment, mental illness and substance use disorders, family conflict, system inequity and discrimination. There are so many things that go into homelessness. And I think just kind of taking away what has provided shelter and resources for these people and just giving them an ultimatum, I think is very inhumane. I wonder if there's one person in Trump's camp, just one person that has the balls to be like, hey, President, you think that what we're doing is a little harsh? You don't think there's another way that we can handle this? Or is it just everyone just blindly follows him? Because what's that white girl's name who stands up and talks with him? I believe it's his press secretary, the one that we just heard. I don't know, but I don't like her either. I want South Park to really, really get in her ass because she just stands up there and Section 842, they will be offered this, they will be offered that. Bullshit. Y'all know damn well nothing about this is about really creating opportunities or helping these people out. So I really that's what ticks me off because y'all are framing it that way, and that's not the case. Y'all are making DC out to be this dirty, dragged out, nasty city when a lot of the drug, dirty, nasty people that we need to be looking out for is in the White House. No shade. They in the White House. Not on the streets of DC. All the scum that you're trying to get rid of is in the White House. Pisses me off, man. It just pisses me off. Because I'm just thinking about, if I was in the shoes of a homeless person, how would I feel? Especially if, I'm already homeless, but at least I found the encampment. I found something where, I can sleep. I found resources. I don't have to worry about somebody stealing my shit at a shelter. So yeah, some of those people would rather really stay in encampments because they're scared of their stuff getting stolen at shelters. They're scared. The women are scared of getting raped at shelters. So none of that is addressed. You feel me? Like, we aren't making sure that the shelters are a safe haven. We just ripping them from where they are and throwing them in. They're like very similar to what ICE is doing to immigrants, just picking them up and throwing them somewhere. Just like the lady said, a very rich man just pushing people around who don't have any money. That's all that this is, a power tactic. But my heart goes out to everyone who might be dealing with homelessness, especially in D.C., right? Because that is the highlight of this right now. So my heart goes out to anyone who was dealing with this. And we how much longer do we have until this man is in office? That's really what I want to know. I'm going to start a countdown. Because that's all that we can do at this point. Just wait for him to be booted out. Wait for this term to be up, because I think, yeah, I don't even know what to think anymore, y'all. This story is draining. Is draining because I'm an empath. You feel me? So I absorb energy, and just thinking about what all these people could be going through mentally, dealing with this, on top of what they are already dealing with, it just makes me sad for them. It really does. So, yeah, we are just going to leave it there. And again, my heart goes out to these people, man. And we will be following this story. We will. We definitely will continue to stay on it. And I will come to you guys with the latest updates next time. Did y'all know that the Proud Family, the new season is out? I know that's random, but I fucks with the Proud Family, you know. I started watching it way back when, and you know, I fucks with Kyla Pratt. And I was just wondering why they didn't promote the new season of Louder and Prouder. So I'm doing it. So y'all need to go watch the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, starring my girl Kyla Pratt. Great show. Love the depiction of Black family and togetherness that comes from that show. So I just wanted to punch that in real quick. Y'all go check out the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, now streaming on Disney Plus. You heard? All right, but moving on, y'all. I got to report on some fuckery. Hate to do it, but I got to report on it. So y'all remember we talked about the William McNeil case, right? The guy that was pulled over during the traffic stop, punched in the face by a deputy. The deputy, Donald Bowers, in that case is not going to face any criminal charges, despite the widely viewed video of him punching McNeil during that traffic stop. Are we surprised? No, of course not. But I want to go to WFAA ABC in Texas for the story real quick. Wait, do we have the audio, y'all? We do, bet. I want to go to this clip real quick, then I'll be right back, y'all.
Meanwhile, a Florida deputy involved in a violent confrontation with a college student has been cleared. Video showed that deputy striking William McNeil, punching him in the face during an arrest in February. Investigators say McNeil refused to get out of his car after being pulled over and was reaching for a knife on the floor, which they say was not seen in that video. The state attorney has concluded the traffic stop was lawful, saying the deputy's actions had, quote, a legitimate tactical purpose.
I was surprised. I was scared. I grew up being told that officers protect us, but that wasn't the case.
McNeil did plead guilty to resisting arrest and driving with a suspended license. The deputy's actions, though, are still part of an administrative review to determine if they may have violated policy.
Bullshit. That's all I hear. Because I did speak on accountability in this case. Like, yes, McNeil, he definitely had some points against him when it came to this whole situation, but there needs to be accountability on both sides. The cop should have handled it better, period. But anyway, their decision to not move forward with any criminal charges was based on a few things. They're saying the stop was lawful. Force was deemed justified because the officers stopped McNeil for legitimate reasons, driving without a headlight and not wearing a seatbelt. Prosecutors ruled that when McNeil refused the 12 lawful commands, like exiting the vehicle or showing documentation, he escalated the situation, creating a dangerous dynamic. Sounds like an excuse to me. Just sounds like an excuse for someone who couldn't control their emotions or overused their authority. That's all that sounds like to me. But anyway, the force used by Bowers was seen as consistent with his training to control physical resistance, particularly if McNeil was believed to be reaching toward a knife found on the floorboard, which no one can confirm anyway. Yeah, so the key word here is his training to control physical resistance, right? The dude was in a car from the video we saw. And why would he be reaching for a knife? Let's think logical. What are you going to do with a knife in that situation? I think any logical person, unless you like mentally going, you're not going to reach for a knife and try to go at 3 cops who got guns. It's not happening. So I don't believe that. But anyway, speaking of the video was seen as incomplete. While McNeil's dash cam footage sparked outrage, prosecutors said it did not capture the full context, such as McNeil's non-compliance and earlier commands, which are visible in the body footage. Now that, again, right, accountability. He did do that. They were asking him to get out of the car, and I'm sure there's footage of them before asking him to get out the car. But again, I don't see where there's any justification in him breaking the window, punching the dude in the face, and pulling him out of the car. I don't see any justification. Sorry. In none of these stances. Now, to make things even worse, McNeil wasn't even interviewed, which drew more criticism. McNeil's legal team, led by civil rights attorney Ben Crump and Harry Daniels, criticized the investigation, noting that McNeil was not interviewed by the state attorney's office before it cleared the officer. They called the review biased and incomplete and have appealed to the U.S. Department of Justice for a federal investigation. So I'm definitely going to be following this because I don't think they should just sit back or wash their hands. You feel me? Because this will paint the picture that other cops can do this and it's okay. Right? Just like Trump said, with the MPDs, and, they're going to be allowed to do whatever they want. Like that is a really dangerous, command to give the green light to when it comes to law enforcement. Because as we know, everybody who wears a badge and holds a gun isn't doing it for humanitarian reasons. They ain't doing it to protect and serve. You feel me? A lot of these people just have a addiction to power. And how do you execute that? You get into positions of power. Policemen, politics, media. And I don't want to definitely don't want to just make this a black thing, because in 2025, I'm saying that police brutality is happening everywhere and it's happening to all kinds of people. Now, is police brutality amplified when we're talking about the black community? Yes, that's just a given. But this is happening all over. There's another case that I came across of a that is similar to this, where the charges were being dropped. A guy named Jeffrey Callaghan, back in 2024 July, he was driving and he has type 1 diabetes. He suffered a medical emergency while he was driving with his daughter, and he had a crash. After the crash, the police mistook his diabetic episode for intoxication and tased him multiple times, even with his hands raised. He broke his arm during the incident as well. So when we go back to the McNeil case, and we're looking at the reasons why they said that force was deemed, necessary. They're saying that Bowers' training, his actions were consistent with his training on how to handle physical resistance. Both of these cases that I just went through don't involve any sort of physical resistance. There wasn't at any point where neither one of these guys was, they had them, in the action of being arrested and they were trying to fight or punch or kick. None of that happened here. Regardless of what happened or what McNeil did wrong on his part, and accountability was already done. So I'm really checking the box next to his name. He's done what he needed to do when it comes to accountability. But if we're looking at the physical resistance portion of it, I feel like it it just wasn't necessary. Nobody was physically resisting at any point. He was sitting in the car, and Callaghan had a medical fucking emergency and was tased multiple times, even with his hands up. In his case, the officers were initially charged, though, so I do want to point out that difference. In the Callaghan case, the officers were initially charged at the state level, but charges were later dropped. In McNeil's case, the deputy was cleared by prosecutors, not charged at all. So there's that. And you can make your own assumptions based on that information that I just gave you when it comes to the potential. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. But to sum it up, there needs to be accountability. And I don't think that the Trump administration is doing any good by promoting this extra sense of force from police and from the military. It's like we're watching The Purge. Y'all seen that movie? It's literally like we're living in The Purge right now. About 2 fucking seconds away from it. Crazy. But that is that on that story, y'all. I'm not too sure if there will be any more updates, but if there are, because I do believe they are still investigating it to some point. So, you know, I'm nosy as hell, so my ears will definitely be to the streets on what's going on with this case. And then I'll come back and let y'all know, of course. But y'all know what that beat mean. When you hear this beat right here, yeah. That means we made it to the end of the episode, y'all. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the Zay Moore podcast with me. Y'all know it means the world. We went over some trending topics today. I hope you heard something you didn't know and you learned something that you didn't know. You feel me? Tuesday, y'all know we connecting, right? So make sure those notifications are on. We are going to be talking about relationships on Tuesday. I got a question in my DM that said, how old is old when it comes to dating, right? So we talking about age gaps. We talking about that. We also are going to be getting into some trending topics as well. There's a few other things that I want to discuss on Tuesday with y'all. But today, in this moment, I just want to thank you for tuning into the Zay Moore podcast. And I just want to wish you guys a great week. And until next time, which next time will be Tuesday. Peace.